The cafeteria was buzzing with noise, the sound of laughter, chatter, and trays clattering against tables. It was supposed to be just another day at Ridgewood High. But for the new girl, Alina, it was anything but normal. She had transferred just 2 weeks ago, carrying with her a quiet aura and a mysterious confidence. Most students ignored her, whispering behind her back about how different she was, how she never tried to fit in, never joined in conversations, and always kept her focus sharp and unshaken. But some students weren't satisfied with just ignoring her. The bullies, led by a group of arrogant seniors, had noticed her calm, collected nature and saw it as weakness. They thrived on humiliation, on tearing down anyone who didn't conform to their standards. Alina became their next target. They laughed at her accent, made fun of her clothes, and tried to corner her in hallways. But she never reacted. She simply walked past them, her eyes steady, as if their words had no power. That only made them angrier. The breaking point came one Friday afternoon in the cafeteria. The seniors circled her as she carried her tray to a corner table. The leader smirked and blocked her path, spouting insults meant to provoke her. When she still didn't react, he shoved her tray to the floor. Laughter echoed through the room. Alina's hands tightened, but she didn't move. The bully thought he had won. But then, crossing the line that should never be crossed, he reached forward and grabbed her chest. The cafeteria went silent. Everyone froze. For a split second, Alina stood completely still. But then something shifted in her eyes. They burned with a fire no one had ever seen before. In an instant, she caught the bully's wrist, twisting it so sharply that he yelped in pain and dropped to his knees. His friends tried to rush forward, but they had no idea who they were dealing with. Alina wasn't just a quiet new girl. She had trained in martial arts since she was 6 years old. Her father, a decorated military officer, had raised her with the discipline of a fighter. Every strike, every block, every movement had been drilled into her until it became second nature. And now, in the face of cruelty, she unleashed that training with precision. One bully lunged at her, trying to grab her shoulder. She pivoted smoothly, hooked his leg, and sent him crashing to the floor. Another swung wildly, only to be disarmed by a sharp elbow to his ribs. Within seconds, the group of confident seniors were sprawled across the cafeteria floor, groaning in pain, their arrogance shattered. The entire room watched in stunned silence, eyes wide, mouths open. But it wasn't just about the fight. What made the moment unforgettable was the way Alina carried herself afterward. She didn't gloat. She didn't laugh at their downfall. Instead, she stood tall, her voice steady as she addressed them. You think strength comes from hurting people weaker than you. But real strength is control. Real. The cafeteria was alive with its usual chaos. Trays clattered, conversations overlapped, and laughter bounced off the walls. It was supposed to be just another lunch break at Ridgewood High. But for Alina, the quiet new girl, this day would change everything. She had arrived just 2 weeks earlier, transferring from another city. No one knew much about her, except that she rarely spoke, always carried a notebook, and kept her eyes focused forward. To some, she was mysterious. To others, she was simply an outsider. But to the bullies, she was prey. They noticed her the very first day. The way she avoided eye contact, the way she chose to sit alone in the corner, the way she didn't rise to their taunts. To them, silence meant weakness. And weakness was an invitation. For days, they whispered cruel things in passing. Hey, quiet girl, lose your voice, one would sneer. Another would bump her shoulder in the hallway just to make her drop her books. Each time, Alina bent down, picked up her things, and kept moving. She never flinched, never snapped back. But inside, her chest burned. She had spent her whole life learning control, but control didn't erase the sting of cruelty. Friday came. A day she would never forget. The cafeteria was packed, every table full, voices rising above the clattering dishes. Alina entered with her tray and walked toward her usual corner. But today, the bullies were waiting. Their leader, a tall senior named Brett, blocked her path with a smug grin. Hey, new girl. Still too good to talk to us, he mocked. His friends laughed. Alina's grip tightened on her tray, but her eyes stayed calm. Move, she said softly. That one word made the bullies laugh even louder. Brett smirked. Or what? You'll write about it in your little diary. With that, he slapped her tray, sending her lunch crashing to the floor. The cafeteria went silent. Students stopped eating. Heads turned. Some kids leaned forward, sensing a fight about to break out. But Alina didn't move. She stared at the mess on the floor, then looked up at Brett. Her eyes were steady, unreadable. And that's when Brett made the biggest mistake of his life. With a mocking laugh, he reached out and grabbed her chest. The silence that followed was deafening. No one laughed. No one cheered. Every eye in the cafeteria locked onto them. Alina froze, her heart pounding. But then, something in her broke. Her hand shot up, faster than anyone could see, locking around Brett's wrist. His smile disappeared instantly as she twisted it sharply. "Ah!" he cried out, collapsing to his knees. Gasps erupted around the cafeteria. "Let go of me!" Brett yelped, his voice cracking. But Alina wasn't done. His friends lunged at her, thinking they could overpower her. They didn't know who she was. They didn't know that for 10 years, Alina had trained in martial arts under her father, a former soldier. They didn't know that every morning, while other kids slept, she was perfecting her stri.